Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, coming to you directly after a first win in a while, 126 to 102 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. Celebrating that tonight will be fun, and hopefully watching some very good football, go Dogs, tomorrow. So, let's get into what happened in this basketball game. Obviously, you can tell that the result went in our direction, and I'm going to discuss why I think that happened and what I think we can continue to do to help more games go in our direction, and some worries I have about the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Offensively, it's been more of the same. Very, very good as of recently. We have been able to get to the paint a lot. We've been making shots a lot. The offenses look fantastic. The difference in tonight's game was the defense. And I'll talk about a little bit of what Minnesota has problems with. And then from that, I'm going to talk about what we did that gave them issue. And then I will talk about how I think that could go, continue moving forward. So, they run everything that they do through Anthony Edwards. Every single action they run is run through Anthony Edwards. Every single moment in time that he can possibly have the ball, he has the ball. And so, we are kind of their kryptonite. And what I mean by that is, we have two dudes who really can stop him very well for the majority of the game. He scored a lot of points, but there was low efficiency, high turnovers, low assist rate. It was difficult for Anthony to get anything done for the entire game. When you stack on top of that, we have Dyson and Null who can do that, but then also we have Zach who in spells can also give him some interesting defensive looks that are just difficult for him to manage. So that was very great. And one of the changes we made today that I heavily agree with is we only played lineups that either had Dyson or Null for the entire competitive portion of the game. There weren't any lineups where our guards did not have a very good defender on the floor. I heavily enjoyed that. I've been talking about how when Trey and Jalen are both here, I would not have a moment where either Trey or Jalen was on the floor. And with Dyson and Null, I would not have a moment where one of Dyson or Null is not on the floor. So, that being the case, we did that tonight, and that worked very well. The other thing that we did tonight was we played Zachary Richase more. Again, I talked about it last game, but in games where he plays more than 24 minutes, we have a very good record. And in games where he doesn't, we don't. Well, tonight, he played 28 minutes, played very well on defense, made a big difference in his extra 4 minutes, and he actually ended the game +8 in his minutes, which again, when you have a dude who's being +8, it's helpful to get that guy more minutes than over players that maybe aren't doing that, right? So, I think that's a couple of things that we did well. The things I don't think we did well. Quite honestly, the defense from ASO is still pretty bad. He rebounded the ball very well, but we did not play Moge at all in the competitive portion of this basketball game, and I think that is quite unacceptable. He has played too well to be getting DNPs. I don't care who's healthy. I don't care who's playing. I don't care what's going on. Moge has to play, no matter what. At least some. So I really did not like that move, and I think that if we moved to Moge being in the rotation, the defense would get even better. Because we did have some trouble with rebounding tonight. And we did have some trouble with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert down low. We did give up a lot more layup type looks than I would have liked to have given up. Now, the defense overall was pretty good. But I would rather the defense be amazing over pretty good, and that's what Moge can give us. Asenul is not ever going to be the kind of defender that Moge is, and so we desperately, with the way our team is constructed, we desperately need that defensive prowess. He has got to play more. So, the other thing that I noticed about this game that I wanted to talk about was this looked like a team desperate to get a win versus a team who was okay with losing. Minnesota played nonchalant the entire game. Minnesota seemed like they didn't care if they won or lost. And that was very, very interesting to me because you should be playing in the NBA. You should be trying to win a ton of games, no matter what. Also, I'm very sorry if in the background you can hear fireworks going off. It being New Year's Eve, I cannot help. There's not going to be a single moment tonight where I can record. I've been trying for the past few hours to get moments when we're not going to have fireworks going off, so I'm very sorry if that's in the background and it is a nuisance to you. But that being said, we played like our hair was on fire all night long, and they played like they could not care less if they won or lost. And that played out in the effort stats. We had a ton of second chance points, offensive rebounds, points in transition, things where they were not getting back, they were not giving full effort, and I do believe that was a desperate team versus a not desperate team, and we happened to be the one who came out on top of that, which I enjoy. I think you should always play every game like it's your last, and we did that tonight, and it proves to me that players like Luke and players like Veet and players like Asa can play half-decent defense. They just have to play it like it's their last ever game they're going to play. That has the kind of urgency they have to have. They did tonight, and they actually were decent defensively. And you saw in the plus minuses, which I'll read to you in a second, that it was much improved when it comes to their plus minus because the defense was much better. So now let's move to the player by player section. Mo Gay and Keaton Wallace both played 4 minutes and did not score. Again, I've already talked about that. You need to be playing Mo. I don't understand. Next, we'll talk about Asa Newell. Asa played 16 minutes. He had 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 9 rebounds and an assist and finished the game plus 12. Again, play a little better defense, plus minus becomes a lot better. I don't think he'll ever be a really positive defender, but he can be a neutral defender. And with how good he is on offense, a neutral defender is going to be a very, very helpful player. Next, we'll talk about Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps played 17 minutes. He had 16 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and he finished the game plus 22. He looked like Kristaps, but doesn't need to be playing a ton because he's got all these illness things going on and everything. I hope he's doing better. I hope we can continue to play him. He's a good player. I just worry about his long-term health. I do. And so that's the only thing that worries me, but overall looked very, very good tonight. Next, we'll talk about Veet Krejci. Veet played 26 minutes. He had 6 points on 2 of 8 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 1 rebound, 5 assists, and finished the game plus 17. Again, when you're adding value that they add on offense and you play better defense, you have a very positive plus minus. That's what ends up happening. But sadly, that's not what we get every night. And Luke Kennard, the last one we talked about off the bench, he played 27 minutes. He had 15 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he finished the game plus 21. Again, play better defense. What you're giving us on offense, which he's shooting the ball more, so now he's giving us positive attributes on offense. Give us what that you give on offense and play better defense, and you'll be just fine. You'll have a very good plus minus at the end of the day. Now to the starters. Onyeka played 27 minutes. He had 17 points on 6 of 13 shooting, 8 rebounds and 5 assists, and finished the game plus 3. He struggled a little bit, but he often kind of struggles against these bigger centers, and it didn't hurt us. He still was able to rebound the ball. He still played well. He just didn't score a ton. And so I would like to see him find things he can do to attack these kind of bigger guys like Gobert and Randall that were underneath the basket. Figure out what you can do to really attack those guys consistently. Next, we'll talk about Zachary Richase. Zach played 28 minutes, like I said. He had 9 points on 4 of 10 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3. Did not shoot the ball well. He had 4 rebounds, 1 assist. It did not matter. He was extraordinarily positive. Again, plus 8 in the game, and majority of his positive attributes came on the defensive end of the basketball, and that is what ends up helping us hold him to 102 points in this basketball game. 102 points when their best player had 30. So the rest of their team scored 70 points. That's the kind of defense we played tonight because we were playing better players longer that could play, and we didn't have any lineups that didn't have Dyson or Naw, as I said earlier. Moving on, next we'll talk about Dyson. So Dyson had played 28 minutes. He had 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and finished the game plus 16. Again, he made Ant's life really difficult. And when you are able to do that to this team, they cannot win. And that is the reason why I don't think they'll win anything long term, like championships this year or something. They have to build a roster that can beat you if you can stop Ant, which I know it's very difficult to do. But if you can, then what are you supposed to do? They have nothing else to do. So Dyson played fantastic defensively tonight, and it really made the difference in the game. Same thing going to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Now played 31 minutes. He had 11 points on 4 of 12 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3. He had 3 assists and 2 turnovers. He finished the game plus 11. The defense was great. He made life really, really difficult on Anthony Edwards, and here we are. We had a really great, wonderful defensive game. Lastly, we'll talk about Jalen Johnson. He played 32 minutes. He had 34 points on 15 of 22 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. He had 10 rebounds and 6 assists with only 3 turnovers. He was plus 12. He completely dominated the game. He played wonderful defense. He just played like an All-NBA caliber player tonight. He showed why people are so excited about him, and he looked like the best player on the court with a guy who everybody's been trying to crown as the face of the league on the court. So that is truly fantastic. I was very proud of his effort tonight, and I thought that the whole team played extremely hard. Again, I do think there are still things we can do to continue to improve, but this is moving in the right direction. Really, the only difference I would say now is less minutes for Asa, more minutes for Mo, and you'll be fine. If you just do what we did tonight, where we play, all the lineups have to have either Dyson or Naw in them, play Zach more minutes. If you give more minutes to Mo and less minutes to Asa, we will start winning a ton of games. But you have to be willing to do that. And so far, we have not shown that we're willing to do that, so I'm worried that when we move forward, this will be a one-off experience. As I said, moving forward, we're going into the new year. We play on Friday, the 2nd, against the New York Knicks. It's going to be a kind of repeat battle from the other day. They beat us really badly the other day, so hopefully we can right the ship on that. It keeps saying day to day about Trey. Hopefully he'll be back from his little quad injury that he's got going on right now, and hopefully we can continue to keep Kristaps Porzingis. As I said earlier, I hope everyone has a wonderful, happy new year. I hope that the Georgia Bulldogs kick the blooming crud out of the Ole Miss Rebels, and we can all celebrate with some wonderful merriment and joy as they beat them, and then hopefully the Hawks beat the Knicks on the 2nd. With that being said, please like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube things. Like I said, this is probably my 4th or 5th attempt at trying to record this, so it's a little bit shorter because my voice is starting to get tired. But I hope you have a wonderful new year. I hope you, let me know what you think about everything I've said. Let me know about all your thoughts and opinions on everything Hawks or Bulldogs or New Year or whatever. Let me know what you got going on in your life. And above all else, I hope you have a great day.